All right, so welcome everyone. I hope everyone can hear me. And so nice to see so many of our colleagues from around the globe or across Africa in one space. So I see colleagues from Tunisia, welcome, from Morocco, welcome, from Egypt, welcome, from South Africa, welcome, and from Nigeria, welcome. So again, delighted that you are able to join us and participate in this showcase, a showcase of impactful experiences for our students and for your students. And I know that you enjoy as much as we do seeing our students meet, collaborate, and get things done. My name is Murad Dakhli. I'm a professor of international business at the Institute of International Business and Georgia State University. I also serve as Associate Dean for International Student Engagement and Partnerships. And I am also leading the virtual exchange initiative on behalf of the Institute and the college with partners across Africa. And I have colleagues here who are also leading these type of impactful experiences with partners in Latin America, in Europe, and in Asia. And I'll share some of those and make sure we give them credit also. I would like to start by sharing my screen, and I will go ahead and go through the agenda very briefly. This is what's on the menu for today. I will start with a very brief context of what we are doing and what I and my colleagues who have been leading this project sponsored by the U.S. Department of Education under the Business and International Education umbrella. And I see my colleagues are here. Lian Liu, Edward Wang, and Salamao Di Farias are here with us. And then I will go ahead and our partners are going to take over. And we are going to have the chance to hear from colleagues from SMU in Tunis, from ESCA in Morocco, from Nile University in Egypt, from Gebes University in Tunisia also. We will also hear from colleagues from South Africa, University of Pretoria, and colleagues from Lagos Business School in Nigeria. Each one of them will have the chance to introduce the project they have worked on in virtual exchange setting, and also introduce their student and maybe have their students share their impression and their key takeaways. That is the first part of our discussion. Then we will move and have some of our own students present the other side of the virtual exchange, and that is linking theory with practice. We have done quite a lot this under the sponsored project, working with the U.S. Africa Chamber of Commerce, with Global Atlanta, with multiple organizations, SMEs and others, trying to create value in above and beyond the academic exercise. So we will talk about that today. Assessment is also a big part of this undertaking, and we will talk about how we handle assessment and assurance of learning. Then we will have set some time aside to recognize some of our mentors. Mentorship is embedded in this in these initiatives, in this project, and we have been working with wonderful people who have been spending a lot of time working with our students and coming to our classrooms and supporting virtual exchange across Africa and across the world. And then we will switch actually to a meeting during that stage and open it up for any comments, discussions, or Q&A. All right, so without further ado, let me just go ahead and outline a few of the items that provide context for some of these impactful initiatives. Like I said, this is, and I'll go ahead and put this in presentation mode. This virtual exchange is spearheaded by the Institute of International Business, my home department, and we have a team of 4 leaders. I serve as the principal investigator or the lead on these projects. Lian Liu, the director of the institute, is co-principal, and my good colleagues Salamao Di Farias and Edward Wang are also participants. So this is really, on our side at least, is truly a teamwork. The DOE-BIE stands for the Department of Education, Business and International Education Initiative. That is the umbrella under which this project, at least the Outreach for Africa, has been supported and promoted. All right. So, of course, virtual exchange, I know most of you know what we're talking about here. Now it has become quite known. We have started the virtual exchange project over 12 years ago, before even the label virtual exchange or COIL came into the scene. So, and we have done it on an ad hoc basis in different settings as embedded into study abroad. But we have experienced quite a few challenges in the past few years. If you recall, the protests in Paris, one of the most popular destinations for in-person exchange. You're looking at Hong Kong down below there, and the protests in Hong Kong a few years back. Those airplanes, those are Delta planes mostly parked on the runways. When travel came to halt during the pandemic, the airplanes, had to park, and airports became parking lots. Of course, there are amazing destinations, culturally speaking, and even business and otherwise. Cuba is one of them. Of course, Iran is one of them. And those offer quite a bit as far as learning experiences, but we are not obviously able in this during these times to leverage those experiences. Of course, lately there's been a lot of discussion about carbon footprint and extensive travel, especially led by academic programs, and the cost. So these are all variables. Some of them are gray rhinos, they've been there for a while, the environmental factors and everything else. And some of them are black swans out of the blue, like the pandemic. But in-person exchange is wonderful, but quite often, it is subject to political risk, it is subject to health concerns, it is subject to cost concerns and otherwise. And this is where we really kind of looked at virtual exchange as the way to create impactful experiences for our students working with partners across Africa, to provide them with those type of training on and means to develop cross-cultural competencies, to develop digital literacy, to foster understanding between students from different cultures and even faculty from different cultures, develop professional skills in terms of presenting, arguing, counter-arguing, and making your point across, and of course addressing the issue of cost, access, and sustainability. So really, virtual exchange used to be on an luxury case base before moved onto really a necessity tool to develop cross-cultural competencies and the ability to work with others cross time zones, cross countries, and otherwise. We decided to make it a required component, and the way we did this is by applying for a grant to get the support we needed, and the grant was accepted. It was, as I mentioned, by the Department of Education, and it has 3 anchors. The first anchor is to develop a globally competent workforce with a focus on Africa. Second is to increase university business collaboration, again with a focus on Africa. And the third angle is to develop internationalization and especially export education programs. So we have the 3 areas that we had to speak to in this grant. And today you will hear my colleagues, our students, talk about different dimensions that relate to one of these 3 anchors for our business and international education grant. All right, so the way we decided to do this is to embed it in a required course. For this to be sustained, for this to be impactful, for this to be scalable, it has to be embedded into an existing course. At the undergraduate level, we decided to embed it into our BISA 4000. This is a course that was developed by a team, again, the same team, Lian Lu, Salamaudi Farias, Ed Wang, and Fernando Doria, and myself. We developed this course from scratch. We decided that students are not going to need a book, which means that we had to identify all content and all material and all resources ourselves. And it was structured and in the form of challenges. So what are the challenges that managers face? And we decided that it's going to be multifunctional, because the challenges that managers face could be political in nature, could be human resources in nature, could be team management in nature, could be sustainability in nature. So this is a multifunctional course that's developed around storyboard. You are looking at one of the storyboard examples that relates to ethics and sustainability. We talk about sustainable development goals here, and every challenge is every storyboard includes content, reading, videos, and frameworks, learning activities, assessment, and everything else with its own learning objectives. So this was very critical for us because this allowed us to scale this, of course, work with partners, but also it allows us to work with folks from different countries, from different universities that do not teach necessarily international business. So the course could be entrepreneurship, the partner course could be marketing, could be management, could be innovation, but because of the cross-functional nature of the course where we embedded virtual exchange, we are able to work with partners from media, from management, and other fields. And this really has been the kind of a powerful tool for us to be able to scale virtual exchange and be able to serve 500 to 600 students across 13, 14, 15 sections of the same course, working with partners across Africa, across Europe, and across other locations. This is where we are present. This is where we have partnerships. You see Africa is well represented. We have partners in Morocco, Tunisia, multiple partners. We have Egypt, also multiple partners, Nigeria, South Africa, and Kenya coming online. We also, over the last couple of years, in addition to the virtual exchange grant initiatives, have expanded our virtual exchange to Indonesia, Brazil. Colleagues, Salamau and Edwang also work with partners in other locations. I know Fernando works with partners in Germany, I believe Canada, and others. So we are fortunate in that we are able to have an infrastructure in place with multiple templates, multiple storyboards. We go to our partners and we design these virtual exchange projects around common interests, around common goals. And that has allowed us to reach out and really build these partnerships around the globe. That's really the main point that I wanted to make. This is where we have used virtual exchange. And I would like now to invite my colleagues from different locations. We will start with SMU. South Mediterranean University, Esma, who is going to lead the discussion, talking about the project we did with SMU. Then Eska will jump in, and I believe Rihab Abba, our colleague, will talk about the innovation projects we've done with Eska. Nile University also will share the project we've done with them, the PESTEL Risk and Assessment. Gabis University, we've done a graduate project, very interesting graduate project in the media and media entrepreneurship space. University of Pretoria, one of our long-standing partners, is going to share with us Emerging Trends and Innovation, a consulting project that we have done with them multiple times now. And Lagos Business School, our newest partner, is going to talk about also emerging trends in the landscape of international business and its implications. So I am going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to let our partners share with us what they have been doing on the virtual exchange space.
Thank you very much, Dr. Morad. Hello, everyone. I would like to welcome all of you. I would like to thank, first of all, the Robinson College of Business and Dr. Morad specifically for this invitation and for this opportunity to share our experiences in the virtual exchange. So if I may share my screen.
I think you should be able to share.
Yes, I think so. Can you see it?
We sure can.
Okay, so let me start by introducing myself. I'm Asma Shaibi, an assistant professor at the Mediterranean School of Business. My PhD specialty is management, and I've been doing this virtual exchange for 3 years with Georgia State University. And I will share my experience with Dr. Morad. I will share an experience of how we conducted this virtual exchange and how we used the Swift case writing technique. But first of all, I would like to present my school, South Mediterranean University, and the Mediterranean School of Business, which is unit of it. I try to present it in a good way, and this is why I will show you a very short video. It is 3 minutes, so please.
In the early days of the new millennium, a visionary educator had a dream. Mr. Mahmoud Tricky had spent years studying, teaching, and working with some of the top universities in the United States and Europe. He had seen the world changing and knew that a new kind of university in Tunisia was needed, one that would offer the best of both worlds, the rigor and quality of the top North American universities, and the culture and heritage of the Mediterranean. So in 2002, he founded the South Mediterranean University with a mission to offer quality programs in English and to bring together corporations, business leaders, scholars, and professionals as founding members. The first school of SMU is the Mediterranean School of Business. Today, with over 3,000 alumni from over 45 different nationalities and more than 1,000 students enrolled today, MSB is a model for business schools in Africa, accredited by two of the most prestigious international accreditations associations, AMBA and EFMD, cited by the Financial Times, and ranked among the top 3 business schools in Africa by Jeune Afrique. A decade later, the Mediterranean Institute of Technology was launched, offering programs in software, computer systems, and renewable energy engineering. With more than 500 students enrolled in its different programs, and being the only ABET accredited in Tunisia, and among only 4 in Africa, MedTech is shaping the future of technology in the Mediterranean. The Language and Culture Institute was founded in 2010 and offers English language, business, and academic courses, as well as welcoming international students for study abroad programs during the summer. The Innovation Center is another corner of dedication to enhancing research opportunities, academic excellence, entrepreneurship, real-world problem solving, and knowledge creation and dissemination. By fostering interaction between faculty, students, visiting scholars, and industry, SMU is setting the standard for higher education institutions and agents for change. The future of South Mediterranean University is bright. It is a university that empowers its students to be self-directed, lifelong learners prepared for a changing digital workforce, giving them the skills they need to keep pace with changing technology and a global economy. At South Mediterranean University, the future is today. We thrive that our students be the leaders of tomorrow. We provide them with the skills and knowledge they need to succeed in an ever-changing digital world. Health school and public affairs, among others, will be the perfect opportunity for students who want to make a difference by acquiring new skills and making a real impact in the world. SMU internationalization plan starts through our establishment in Africa as a hub for knowledge for the region. At South Mediterranean University, we are committed to being a guidepost of hope and progress, shining from North Africa towards the continent and the whole world. With clear vision, perseverance, hard work, and determination, there is no limit to what we can achieve. SMU, from here we rise.
So this was a short and an overview description of our university, Mediterranean School of Business, which is a unit of South Mediterranean University. And now I will share and I will give an overview. So I will give an overview of our project. And I will start by defining what is the Swift case writing technique. For some people, they do not have a good knowledge of this technique. So the Swift case writing technique, it is an acronym that stands for Student Reading Instructor Facilitators. That represent a dynamic educational methodology that has been transforming the way we teach and learn in collaborative online international learning environments. So basically, the Swift case writing technique is all about collaboration and learning by doing. So students, under the guidance of their instructor or professors, come together to create real-life case studies. And it isn't just about writing, it is about analyzing and identifying business opportunities and all of that. And at the end, they present these cases all as a team. So, and this is what we did. So here it is the process that we implemented in our virtual exchange. And what we did is we formed groups of 4 members or 4 students, 2 MSB plus 2 JCU. The students were presented with a project outline that guided their collaborative efforts. So the project tasks encompassed a series of steps. We started with identifying a hook. So the students need to identify a hook or a focal subject, and this subject should be related to international business. So they were open to many options, a firm-based issue or an industry issue or any topic that is related to international business. After that, they started analyzing and collecting, before that, collecting data. They used primary and secondary data. The primary data, many students used the qualitative studies and the quantitative studies. So after that, they analyzed those data that they had collected with the frameworks like the PASTEL, the SWOT analysis, and at the end they needed to present a story or a case study. And this case study is presented by a video. So this is basically was the process of the Swift case writing technique. You know, to engage our student, and this is our role, and this is our objective nowadays, is to make students more engaged. So to do that, we have implemented outcomes and rewards, and we told our students this is not only about studying only, but also you will have some output and some tangible outputs, let's say, at the end of this virtual exchange. So in this, one of the major achievements was the successful presentation of the student cases at the AIBRP International Conference in Chicago. Additionally, Georgia State University recognized the students with the virtual exchange badge. So the students were really happy about that. They shared their virtual exchange badges on LinkedIn. We have also Georgia State University gave certificate of completion for the top teams or the top case studies. And to add the excitement, Cyber, which is the Center for International Business Education and Research, provided monetary awards to the winning teams, making the program not only academically enriching, but also, as I said, rewarding in tangible ways. So with these outcomes and rewards, we have organized a case competition, and we had 3 winning teams. These winning teams were chosen by us, me and Dr. Murad. So the first winning team, their case study was about the jewelry industry and the unethical practices. The second team was about Starbucks in Turkey, and the third team, the case study subject or hook, was about the Airbnb during the COVID-19. So I would like to invite Serene. So she's with us. She's an MSP student, and she was one of the winning team. And I would like to invite her to share her experience first of all, in this virtual exchange, and how was the case study competition and overall the virtual exchange, how it was. So Serene?
Yes, hello. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. So Serene, can you please introduce yourself? And after that, can you share your experience in this Swift case writing technique?
Yeah, sure. So hello, everyone. My name is Serene Hajramdan. I am an alumnus from the Mediterranean School of Business. I'm also now a student in finance at Nova SBA in Portugal. I was part of the consulting the case competition, so at MSB, and I was working with other people. So we were 2 from the Mediterranean School of Business and 2 from Georgia State University. I think for me, this experience was very enriching. I think that this kind of experiences where you can meet other people from different countries and collaborate and work together to achieve a project in general is something, it's a unique opportunity to not only learn additional knowledge within an industry. In our case, it was the jewelry industry, but also learn how to communicate, how to work with people that are in different countries. So there are a lot of barriers that can come when you work with people that are completely, I wouldn't say completely, but quite different from you. First, one of the biggest challenges that you had was about communication. So it was a virtual experience. So there's a big word of virtual. And because of that, we had a lot of issues when it comes to communications, when it comes to finding a good platform where we were able to easily communicate. I remember one time where we were having a meeting, there was a storm, I think in Georgia, in Atlanta, and our teammates from the Georgia State University weren't able to join the meeting, and so we had to postpone it and do it another time. So it's those little problems that makes communication more difficult. Also, because it was a virtual experience and not an in-person experience, I think when it comes to learning from each other, it was harder because the human touch, I would say, was less significant. And because of that, it was very difficult to match all our parts. So at some point of the project, I felt that our parts were shifting apart, and the story that we will try to create wasn't as good or wasn't as strong as we thought at first it would be. And so I think when we started to realize that we were shifting in terms of vision, we started to be more proactive in terms of how we should communicate. The frequency of our meetings started to increase because also we had problems to find days or times to actually meet because of the different time zones between Tunis and Atlanta. So it was really, really difficult to find a good meeting time for us. I remember sometimes we had to do meetings at 11 p.m. For us in Tunis so that our group mates were able to join. And you see, those are problems that can arise when you work with people that are living in different countries. But those are problems I think that you need as a person to have to face, because when you work in the professional world, those are problems that you will face every day. You will work with people that are from different countries, especially if you work in an international organization, you will have these problems. And I think it's a good thing that in our days as students, we are faced with those problems, just because it's a really good way to learn and to have greater, I would say, experience on how you can deal that later in your life. So for me, so far, the experience was extremely enriching, great. We had to face many challenges, but at the end, we were able to overpass them, and we gained so much during that exchange. And I am really, really grateful and happy that I was able to participate in this competition. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Siri. And
Thank
this is it. I want to conclude that this is it. The virtual exchange, it has a lot of challenges. However, we learn, me as a professor and you as a student, we learn from this virtual exchange. So I will leave the floor to Dr. Murad.
Thank you. Very, very insightful, and I love that honesty and the pros and cons. That's wonderful. That's great. And I know your team has worked very, very hard. You really represented Tunisia very well. You and your teammate. I want to shout out to the Cyber Center for International Business Education and Research at Georgia State that sponsored the case competition, and there were some rewards, financial rewards for the students in this case, actually. So the kudos to them. So it was. And by the way, we presented the cases at the Academy of International Business Midwest. So Serene and her colleagues and all others are actually have a conference paper, you know, that was presented. So kudos to you guys. I'd like to invite my colleague Rihab Abba from ESCA, École Supérieure de Commerce et d'Administration in Casablanca in Morocco, and she's going to share with us a completely different type of project. Again, the flexibility of the project is what allows us to reach out to different schools and reach out to different partners. And this one is centered around global innovation challenges. So Rihab, is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Murad, for this opportunity to come share a few insights about the experience in virtual exchange between ESCA and GSU. If you allow me to share my screen.
Go ahead.
Are you able to see my screen now? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Awesome. So very briefly, I present myself. I am Rihab Abba. I work at ESCA École de Management in Casablanca, Morocco. I've been working there for more than 10 years. And I teach problem solving and complexity management to master students. I'd like to take a few minutes to present the school so it is familiar to the audience. ESCA is a leading business school in its area, and it's rooted in Africa and open to the world. So this is going to be the topic of this presentation. At a glance, just a reminder that Morocco is where the world meets, because it's really at the crossover between several continents. It's the privileged entrance door to Africa, and it's barely 19 miles away from Europe. So in 1 to 2 hours flight, you can get to Spain, to France, and to Germany. And it's also a gateway to the Mediterranean region as a whole, and gateway to the Arab world. And it's only 7 hours flight to New York in direct flight. So it's really close to all the regions of the world. And Casablanca is the economic capital of Morocco. It's also the largest city, and it hosts several leading projects in Africa, namely the financial hub in Africa. This is the first one. It's called Casablanca Finance City, and this is also where ESCA Business School is located. And several students come from different countries around the world to visit, to have their exchange semesters at ESCA, where they find various internship opportunities. And so Casablanca is really the place to be for business schools, for business students. And in really briefly, a few key figures related to ESCA. It is AACSB accredited, and it is the first AACSB accredited business school in the entire French-speaking Africa. And it has now 135 international partners, among which GSU is one of the most prominent ones. 40 nationalities are included in the students' population. And we are also developing a really intensive network with the corporate world, several groups and chair for research related to key topics that interest managers around the world, but especially in the MENA region. It is among the top 3 of business schools in Africa, and we're proud of the 30 years of educational experience that we have achieved so far. It is not a big school. We have only one campus. It's located in the heart of Casablanca. And this is a strategic decision because we want to focus on a smaller population and give them a first-rate quality of education. But we have now 6,000 graduates who are holding the degree and sharing knowledge and expertise in the corporate world. So here are a few pictures that show GSU and ESCA long-standing partnership. It has been going on for almost 10 years now, Dr. Murad, right? Time flies. And we had several types of collaboration experiences, going from study tours to joint classes, to virtual exchange, to joint papers, sharing conferences, company visits, different types of experiences that allow us to improve relationship across the two continents. So what I'd like to share with you today, along with one of my students, is the latest virtual exchange experience that ESCA has had with GSU. It has taken place in spring 2023, so starting from January, and it was connected with a general topic about global innovation challenges. It included two populations of international business students. The first one from ESCA is a group of students that I teach within the course Complexity Management, and the other one with colleague Dr. Salamao Di Farias in his international business class. So the topic we chose to bring forward and make the students work on was global events, emergent trends, and disruptive innovations in Africa. The students needed to work in teams, joint teams, of course, partly from JSU and partly from ESCA, and they needed to apply a set of diagnosis tools on a specific ETI in Africa. So they needed to come up with a first list of ETIs that would be relevant, interesting to work on, and then select one of these ETIs and focus on it in order to apply a VUCA tool or SWOT or Porter or other tools. And they had a deliverable of joint case reports. And we agreed with Dr. Di Farias to grade these reports and include the grading in their the final grade for the class. So this was an additional incentive for the students in order to do their best. Of course, as teachers, we had this concern of quality, but we made sure that the students were not micromanaged. We gave them full freedom to choose how they wanted to work together, which social media or any communication means would be more relevant to each team. The only aspect we have fixed beforehand was the list of students who was going to work with whom, just to make sure there is an equal distribution of students from both institutions, and to, of course, be available if there are questions, if they needed any help with specific problems. So, but we were there at their disposal, but we did not monitor closely what they did. We wanted to see how these difficulties of communicating would give way to an emerging result and output. So I hope that this has been the case. At any rate, I have invited one of my students to share the experience from her perspective and share with us the main takeaways of the experience. So I call Ikram Ahdad, if you're here. Yeah, awesome. So I give you the floor, Ikram. You could present yourself and explain to us how the experience went for you and your classmates, and also share with us a few insights on how that worked for you.
Okay, so hello everyone, hope you're doing okay. My name is Ikram Ahdad, and I'm a graduate student here at ESCA. I'm in international business. So we've had this class with Madam Abba last year, and it was literally a great experience. Like literally we cannot complain. We had a lot of benefits through that, and one of the main things I wanted to talk about is freedom, as Madam Abba just mentioned. we were free to choose whatever event, trend, and innovation we are interested in. So this gave us a sort of motivation to work on this project, basically. So I want to talk about the challenges that we had. So first of all, it's the time zone differences, and as you know, the difference between here in Morocco and Georgia is basically 5 to 6 hours. So this was kind of difficult for us to maintain, would say like a regular meetings, etc. with the team, but we kind of made it work since we tried to work with WhatsApp, and since it's connected in our phones, etc. So we basically tried to make it work, and it did work eventually. Also, the culture and the communication difference. I would say that our culture is pretty different. So basically, for us, we usually maybe want to work late at night, etc., etc. Well, this was what happened in my group in general. And for the GSU students, basically, they were mainly focusing on working maybe like in the morning. This is how it works for them, which happens to be perfect for us since the night here is like the morning there, and it worked perfectly. The benefits are a lot, of course. Like there's a lot of benefits that I cannot like talk about only in this presentation, but one of the main one is the cultural exchange. Since like we have two different cultures, and we also had the chance to have a Canadian student with us. He was an incoming exchange student here at ESCA. So basically our group, we were some Indians, Moroccan, Canadian, and American, which was perfect. Like the cultural exchange was phenomenal, to be honest. Also the academic part was very, very interesting. As I said, like we had the freedom to choose the events, the trends, and the innovations, which captured actually our attention to the subjects. And it was like some subjects of actual like events, etc. So it was very interesting. The networking part, which is a very important part in business in general. So we had this chance to network with people from like another country, which was awesome. And the global awareness is like we gained this awareness of like how these people think, they communicate, they work, etc. Also, I believe that for the JSU students, they learned like how us Africans work, and also they learned about like these events and innovations and trends basically in Africa, since we try to focus in Africa. So I do believe that this was very interesting for both parties. And it was basically one of the best experiences that I had eventually, because it offered a lot for each individual in the group. So I'll try to make it short since I know that there is the constraint of time. Hope I kind of summarized everything.
Thank you very much, Ikram. And thank you again, Dr. Murad, for this opportunity to share our experience with you. And I'll give you back the floor.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Ikram, also for your feedback and for your comment. Very, very helpful, very helpful. And we do collect these comments along the way. I have to say the emerging trends and innovation is very popular assignment because it gives the students from different fields the flexibility to look at the world around them and look at what impacts them most. So it has been very popular, kind of common thread throughout. I'd like to now invite my colleague from Egypt, Dunya. And Rauda Ali is going to share with us the information about the project we did, and this is more about risk and opportunity assessment. So I'll let you talk about it and share your thoughts and maybe your students' comments. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Murad. Hello, everybody. Let me just share my screen. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Is it clear now? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, very clear. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Great. So let me just start by introducing myself. My name is Rauda Ali. I'm managing the Nile University Center for International Cooperation and Sustainability in Egypt. And I'm also an assistant professor of practice working at the School of Business Administration. We are relatively new to the virtual exchange with Dr. Murad. We just started the last semester. We are continuing it this semester, and hopefully we've been in discussions for long-term relationships to come. So let me just start by giving you a quick introduction about our institution. It's not as nice as your video, Asma, but let me try. So Nile University is a public, non-profit university that is non-governmental and autonomously managed. We started operation in 2007 as a research and an entrepreneurial education institution in Egypt. We are proudly ranked as the top entrepreneurial university in Africa this year by the Accreditation Council for Entrepreneurship and Engaged Universities. And this is something that we are very proud of. To date, we have 5 schools in operation. They offer undergraduate and postgraduate programs. We have the School of Engineering, the School of IT and Computer Science, the Biotechnology School, and of course, the School of Business Administration. We also have a graduate unique school in the region for the management of technology, just offering PhD and master programs or degrees. We are also currently expanding to be more comprehensive as an education institution, and hopefully over the coming few years, we will be adding new schools that serve national needs and also that address some of the very pressing global trends. Our business school, again, relatively new. We have 5 specializations in the business school. We offer specializations in economics, finance, integrated marketing communications, supply chain and logistics, and general business and entrepreneurship. And we offer also a number of postgraduate degrees that range between MBA, masters, and professional diplomas. So our project, as I've been saying, I had the privilege last semester we had the privilege to partner with the Robinson College of Business in this virtual exchange project. Our project is a global market assessment. We focused on Africa. And our students conducted this market assessment in a cross-border virtual teams using the PESTEL analysis tool. The deliverables were a PESTEL analysis matrix and a report reflecting the takeaways, offering recommendations to potential foreign investors. And in this project, we tell our students, you are our consultants. So we need you to examine the target market via the PESTEL and tell us more all about the different 6 dimensions, both in the current state and the possible trends. So they get very excited about being our consultants. We had also 18 countries last semester. We had 18 country teams focusing, again, as I said, on Africa being the last frontier in international business arena. And because Africa also is a continent with about 1/3 of the fastest growing economies in the world, I'm happy to say that this collaboration has been a success in the past semester and that we are continuing it this semester in 2 of our courses with 2 different projects. So thank you so much again, Dr. Murad. And now I'm going to invite one of my brilliant students, Mariam. She will talk about her experience in the PESTEL. Over to you, Mary.
Thank you, Dr. Rauda. Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to be presenting Nile University in the International Education Week. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Mariam Bourg, a senior business student in Nile University, major marketing, and I'm here today to talk about my exchange program experience, and I'll tell you about all my experience. My project was a PESTEL analysis about Morocco. Please change the slide. Thank you. In my opinion, working in international virtual teams is one of the most effective ways to develop cross-cultural competencies and global mindsets. Through this experience, I was able to develop my communication skills through engaging in cross-cultural interactions, refine my presentation skills by participating in such a collaborative project has significantly enhanced my ability to deliver presentations with professionalism. And the nature of the project and the setting of the multinational team provided an excellent platform for improving my business-oriented English. Communicating effectively in a professional context has become one of my strength points, and advanced research skills in utilizing the PESTEL framework for analyzing Morocco. I acquired extensive research skills. I've learned to proficiently gather and analyze data, enabling me to conduct in-depth and comprehensive analysis. Last but not least, the teamwork. Working with a combined team of diverse cultural backgrounds was challenging, sometimes in reaching consensus. However, this experience provided me with the skills to collaborate efficiently and use different ideas or ways of thinking to achieve the project objectives, all of which have contributed to strengthen my teamwork abilities. And now some of my experiences that I've done after doing this exchange program. The skills that I gained greatly improved my personal abilities. I effectively hosted a lot of events. Moreover, this skill significantly contributed to my success in 2 business model competitions. Notably, I secured the first place in the Hult Prize, and I earned the 2nd place at the Undergraduate Research Forum competitions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariam, and congratulations. Very well done. Very well done. Congratulations. And you chose Morocco as your country of focus. That's wonderful. The map might not be accurate in that one, but the project, I'm sure, was amazing. I think they chopped Morocco in half there in that map. Wonderful. I would like to move to our next partner and next presenter. And I'm going to invite my good colleague from the University of Gabes in the south of Tunisia, Sirine Cortas, to talk to us about a different project we did with the non-business school. So I talked about the multifunctional nature of the course, and that actually allows us to really reach out to folks in communications and media and many other areas, international relations and what have you. So Sirine, if you could take over from here.
Thank you, Dr. Murad. It's very nice to be here among all of you, and also to, speak on behalf of the University of Gabes, but most importantly on behalf of ESLG as my institute. So allow me to share my screen. My presentation may not be as elaborate as the ones previously presented, but I would like to start, by giving you an idea about the University of Gabes. It's in the south of the country of Tunisia. It has a very interesting view on the beach, on the sea, but also a very interesting oasis. You are the most welcome to visit us anytime you want. So this is Gabes, as you can see in here on the map, and this is my home. Yes, indeed, and our home, the ESLG. Actually, it's a small institute, but it's quite, innovative, and it's very much engaging in very interesting programs, and it's aiming very much high, trying to reach out to the world. Let me say that this is not actually my work by myself, but it's a teamwork. It's a collaboration with Dr. Yassin Najjar, Madame Lidi Ben Gayed, and definitely myself, Sirine Cortas. I am the coordinator of the MA program of English for Media Studies and Journalism. And this is actually how we got this idea of bridging, in a way, the gap between the industries and the disciplines by having an interdisciplinary approach to media and business, and most importantly in Africa. We couldn't really have done that without, the very efficient work of Madame Lidi, who trained the students onto PESTEL, as the program was essentially about incorporating a PESTEL study to explore, in a way, the prospects and the features and characteristics of the media business in Africa, but most importantly in Tunisia. And Dr. Yassin Najjar was definitely the teacher responsible for evaluating and assessing the final products provided by the students from both sides, our students and the students of Georgia University in the very entity of Mack Robinson College of Business. And it actually was a one-semester cooperation or partnership that was in the month of April 2022. It was a very fruitful event, actually, and a very fruitful month where we were able to, students and teachers actually, to work in a cross-border virtual teams and to complete a critical understanding of the context of the media business in Africa. So students had the possibility to be divided into groups to work together, and definitely they had to, in a way, or the program aimed in a way to help them achieve a couple of objectives. You listed most of them earlier on, so no need for me to repeat those. I mean, very outstanding outcomes that they were really able to handle, but I would accentuate on the very important aspect of cross-culturally communicating, that in context, I mean, that idea of being able to communicate with the other side of the world and to be able to manage to overcome our cultural, geographical differences. That was very interesting and very important for 21st century students. The students, as I said, were placed in teams of 4 to 6. They had to find ways actually to manage their the different tasks that they had to go through. As I said, it was very planned and scheduled due to the fact that it was just 1 month. So things had really to be well organized. And that was the only thing actually on which we had our hands. Apart from that, the students were completely free in terms of choosing the location, the media means that they wanted to focus on, and also to run their projects in the ways they found suitable. I would like to say that this preparation was, or this presentation was actually prepared by myself and one of our students who lived the experience, who is Marwan Zitouni, but unfortunately Marwan couldn't join us due to his job obligations. For that, I will share with you, if you allow me, of course, his own comments. This is Marwan, so that you would know the student, and he was absolutely a senior student. I'm quite sure that he benefited a lot from the experience, as he claimed that as it was a virtual experience, although it was a virtual experience, it was a bit difficult to cope with, yet very interesting, as it presented us with a different aspect of a media as a business. A profitable industry, and this deeply in a way has marked our students, because their study in media was very much related to media as as a discourse, not as a product that is sold, but rather or an industry. Though we faced some intercultural problems due to different perspectives, mindsets, we found our ways to manage these issues and to transcend them. To speak on behalf of my friends, we gained a lot at the personal and academic levels. And I think that this is the most important thing, actually, that we managed to develop through the opportunities that we are offered. And for that, we are very much thankful, Dr. Murad, for the opportunity that you gave us, and how you made us really, in a way, get into the business world in such a smooth way. By the end, I would like to say thank you on behalf of ESLG and my students of the MA program for media and journalism. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Siri. Thank you so much. That was a very interesting project, and you just said it. Your students learn about media from a discourse perspective,
Yes.
And ours, you look at it more as a product, as a service, and putting them together was quite interesting. I have to say their reports were quite insightful. I learned so much about the media, Nollywood, the Nigerian center for media production, Cairo as a big media center, Casablanca, Johannesburg. It was quite Nairobi was another project. It was really very insightful. I enjoyed the deliverables.
We also discovered Tunisia, actually, and the potential. Yes, this is something very important.
Yes. The recommendation are also interesting. Thank you
very much.
Thank you. I would like to now invite my good colleague from one of our oldest partners, South Africa, University of Pretoria. We've been working with University of Pretoria for over 2 decades now, but more recently on virtual exchange. And Carolyn Chisadza is here with us. And Carolyn, I am going to give you the floor to share with us the projects that our students have been working on over the last couple of years, actually now.
Thank you, Murad. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me just share my screen. Presentation mode. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay, great. All right. Again, thanks so much, Murad, for inviting us to this panel. So my name is Dr. Caroline Chisadza. I'm a senior lecturer at the University of Pretoria, which is based in South Africa, in the capital city of South Africa. And I sit in the economics department. So just briefly, the University of Pretoria was established in 1908 with just 4 professors and 32 students. It is now one of the largest universities in South Africa, with more than 250,000 alumni coming through the doors, through our doors. University of Pretoria has transformed into, over the years, obviously it was started and before the apartheid, then there was the whole apartheid system, so there was always the inequalities that happened, but over time, the University of Pretoria has managed to adapt into a dynamic university, community of staff and students who come from a range of diverse backgrounds and cultures, showcasing South Africa and global societies. So we have grown to become one of the top universities on the continent, with a presence among the top 1.9% of universities globally. And our Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences was just recently accredited by the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Businesses. So we're really proud of that accreditation. So Murad and I just had quite various discussions on this, on the virtual exchange program, and I was very excited to get involved in this. So my third-year students got a sort of a pilot study, the pilot sample that we used this year, and we will be continuing this over the next couple of years. And I'm hoping that I will introduce my postgraduate levels as well, but we'll discuss this, Murad, afterwards. So basically the project that the virtual exchange project that Georgia State University and University of Pretoria worked on was to look at the impact of emerging trends and innovations with a specific focus on Africa. And we tasked our students with a range of emerging trends and innovations that are taking place currently that are topical, such as global financial crisis, COVID-19, climate change, the Russia-Ukraine war, discovery of natural resources, and the 4th industrial revolution. So the students could choose, the groups could choose any one of these emerging trends to do their research on, and the outcome was to produce a project, a report where they provide us with the evidence and the impact that these particular trends and innovations have had in Africa. And the groups were made up of 4 University of Pretoria students and 2 George State University students. And then I've got my student here, Ontati Lemsweli, and she will take you further on what the project entailed and some of the challenges and also the victories, I guess you could say, that they faced during the course of conducting the project. They actually just recently submitted the group projects, I think last week Friday, yeah. So those still need marking.
And thank you for the extension, Doctor. You're amazing. Hello, everyone. I am Ontati Lemsweli. I'm a final year economics student at the University of Pretoria, and I take development economics as a module in my degree. So we formed a part of 6 students, 4, like Dr. Chisadza said, were from the University of Pretoria, and then 2 were from George State University. And I'd like to make special mention to my George State University students, who were India and Mohammed, who were very instrumental in making this project a success. So the chosen ETI that we went for was the 4th Industrial Revolution, as that is where we currently are, that is where the world is moving towards. And so what we had to do was to form a team charter first. So we had to meet our team members in South Africa as well as in America. And we had to come up with a team name, and this team name would be something that we all share in common, and we had to be very creative about some of this. And after hearing the presentations that we had to do in class, our class this year came up with some interesting names. I can give you that. But with my group, we came up with the name Chasing Equilibrium. And the reason why we did this was because, just like everything in life, we are trying to find some sort of balance. And that was what the study of economics does. We're trying to find a balance between unlimited needs and wants with limited resources. And right now, with the 4th Industrial Revolution, we're trying to find some sort of balance between adopting the 4th Industrial Revolution while improving livelihoods and not threatening humanity. And so the findings from this project was that there was a clear divide between Africa and developed countries in terms of technology. So there was a digital divide that existed. And thereafter, we saw that technological enhancement have improved various economic sectors in the continent already, including education, healthcare, and trade. Furthermore, the 4th Industrial Revolution poses a threat to many traditional jobs and may worsen inequality, especially in Africa. And then lastly, the policies that we wanted to see being implemented as budding development economists was policies that encouraged investments in technology and the sustainable adoption thereof, that would need to be implemented with careful consideration to the socio-economic and environmental impact of the 4th Industrial Revolution. The challenges of this project: number 1 was working with people. People. That was a challenge to work with. And then the first one, as we have listed in this PowerPoint, was working across different cultures and time zones. Secondly, was a lack of communication from group members. I think one of our group members, we only heard from them like 2 weeks in, and he just doesn't read his emails, and that's another challenge. People do not read their emails. And then lastly, load shedding in South Africa made it a bit difficult for us South African students to meet with our GSU students online. So we have something called a load shedding schedule that we had to work around. And fortunately for my group, we always made sure that on Thursdays, 6 o'clock Central African time, I think it's 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, that is when we met with our GSU students. So we could find a common ground despite the challenges that we faced. And then, oh yes. So we have an energy crisis in South Africa. We have electricity in different schedules. It's an interesting thing. I can proudly boast that we still won the Rugby World Cup, even given the problems that we face and the darkness that we are often in. And then moving on to our benefits of the group project, this was an exercise of patience and effective collaboration. It truly was. You had to find some sort of middle ground. It also brought about a lot of, I don't want to say compassion, but you had to think outside of your own personal circumstance and just think for other people. And then secondly, it was being able to see the different perspectives between students in different countries, as well as within our own country. I mean, it was beautiful to see the diverse students and how they think, not only within the University of Pretoria, but also from GSU. I think there was a difference in ages and what people were involved in, the kind of jobs that they do, the degrees that we all take. And it was amazing to learn from each and every single one of us, because we take different degrees. We are all armed with some sort of knowledge from our degrees, but it was also empowering just to go and do the research that we've learned and then come together with all of the information that we learned from our reports that we had to compile. So it was just a collaborative effort, and it was just beautiful to see different people who didn't know each other from above, so become so well acquainted with each other. And then lastly, we developed a lot of skills, critical skills to work in teams, like establishing boundaries, expectations, holding each other accountable, and supporting one another, because at the end of the day, we're all students, but we also have a life outside of our academics. So yes, that is what the benefits of this group project was. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think more of it needs to happen in the university, to think outside the scope of what is already being done. Instead of parrot learning, we need to go out there, we need to do the research, we need to learn to work with people, and we need to overcome the battles that come with working with people, because that is what we're one day going to do when we enter the field of work. So thank you very much for this opportunity. This was amazing to hear, and was amazing to hear what other universities were working on as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mara. Thank you.
Thank you both. That was wonderful and very insightful. I appreciate it. And congratulations to South Africa on winning the Rugby World Cup. As a matter of fact, it so happened I watched the Rugby World Cup with my colleague Johan Vogel, from your colleague from University of Pretoria, at one of the bars here in Atlanta, Georgia. so we watched it live. It was quite an event.
Thank you.
Our next discussing presenter is from Nigeria, one of the largest countries in Africa, and one that is really very engaged with us, Georgia State University. We have quite a few Nigerian students, and some of my graduate assistants are from Nigeria. Professor Nkadilim Iheanacho from Lagos Business School, and he's going to talk to us about an ongoing project right now that he's leading with our colleague Junaid Virgin, who's the director of the Master of International Business and professor of International Business. So, Professor Nkadilim, it's all yours.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be with you all. I am delighted and I'm so happy speaking to you all from Station F, the world's largest startup campus in Paris. And I'm happy to talk about the ETI project we're currently running collaboratively with Professor Junaid, coordinated by Professor Monrad. It's an exciting project. We're very delighted. And essentially, the project is about creating teams where students from Lagos Business School and students from Georgia State University work collaboratively to identify extraordinary global trends that are impacting the environment, and more importantly, trends that have a significant impact on the growth, the development, and the competitiveness of the African economy. It's been exciting. They're currently, I think, in their third week. They've identified the first set of projects. I can see lots of my Nigerian folks from all over the world congratulating us on the platform. Kosidi, Agnes, Abdulaziz, good to see you all. And on this call, I have my student, Emmanuel Orji from Lagos Business School. He'll be making a short presentation on his own experience and, broadly speaking, the experience of the class on this very exciting ETI project. I mean, we are incredibly grateful and excited at the opportunity to collaborate with GSU after I was at the last cyber workshop in Atlanta. That's where the idea came up, and I'm quite delighted that the partnership is taking shape and emerging in its first form with this project. Thank you very much. So I'll hand over to Emmanuel now to quickly make his presentation. Emmanuel, are you there?
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, everyone on the call. I'm very excited and happy to be here. If I may please share my screen to show. Well, before I share my screen, I just want to say that this experience has been worthwhile. The interaction with the students from the Georgia State University, it has been wonderful. It has been a good one. Having to interact with people from different cultures, different experiences, I will have to say that it has been a very good one. yes, just like the other presenters have said, we've had some little challenges with time differences, you know, having to like wake up at night sometimes just after classes, you know, just to have our meetings together because of the differences in time zones. But generally, the experience has been wonderful. So just as my professor said, we did a project on transformative global events. As you can see on my screen, my name is Emmanuel. I am from the Lagos Business School and full-time MBA. So we were able to select just out of the general transformative global events that are currently changing the global landscape and the way people are doing business. So number one on the list out of the three, we've seen the rise of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, you know, has rapidly transformed many aspects of our lives, from the way we work to the way we interact with the world around us. We can see the rise of ChatGPT. We can see Microsoft producing bad. We can see even recently, in recent times, Elon Musk just decided that he was also going to produce his own some sort of a generative AI. So you can see that this particular artificial intelligence has actually is just like what the whole world is looking at, you know, and then there are concerns about, you know, the possibility of artificial intelligence taking over jobs and, you know, increasing the level of unemployment and things like that. And we're able to look at how human beings can actually, you know, work in collaboration with some of these technologies, because it will actually help us with respect to automation of repetitive tasks. So instead of having to go through different ledgers of repetitive tasks, we could actually use AI to do that. The second one would be blockchain technology. Blockchain is actually the underlying technology behind cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and actually we've seen from our study that blockchain can actually be applied to revolutionize many industries, including finance, supply chain management, and even voting. Currently, the Securities and Exchange Commission in the US, they just started a proceeding on how they will be able to approve 12 spot ETFs, Bitcoin ETFs. So it actually tells us that this is not just something that is fleeting, it is something that has come to stay. And most big players of the world are actually looking for how they will be able to utilize blockchain, because it helps, for example, in the financial services industry for speed. And then there's some level of security of the assets. It also guarantees transparency and also efficiency. Finally, on this aspect, the costs in terms of the cost of initiating payments and things like that is highly reduced with use of. Finally, we have the rise of social media. Social media has actually made interaction and communication and information sharing easier. The use of emojis, the use, you know, things like thumbs up, smiley faces, and things like that. It has actually created a world where people from different walks of lives can come to that same platform and use it for easier connection, information sharing, and things like that. The little negative impact of social media, for example, as we've seen in recent times, has to do with misinformation. It has also used to cause some negative things. But then we are actually advised to be very careful, especially about our mental health and the way we feel, especially when navigating around the social media. So this brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Professor Nkemdin, for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you both. That was very insightful. I know you're still working on that project, so I hope you narrow it down. That's a big umbrella right there you brought on the table, but very, very interesting. Very nice. One just comment too. I know there are challenges working cross borders, cross time zones, and virtually. I always tell my students that our job is not to make things easy for you, but to make them real. So we wanted to experience the real challenges working in that type of context. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, partners from across Africa, for sharing your takeaways. And thanks to all the students, so eloquent and so nice to hear from you. I would like for us to now move to the second objective. I shared with you the anchors for our project. The first one, of course, is develop global competencies. This is what we have been listening to. And these are the projects led by our colleagues, Salamati Farias, Edward Wang, Junaid Everjan, and Don Williams, and others. But now we would like to talk to the second anchor, and that is to link business with academia, making the work that our students do, the consulting work, the risk assessment work, and the all of the indicators that they collect, and all of those relevant. And for that, I'm going to pass it on to Peter Ivazic, a graduate assistant at Georgia State University, an MBA student. And Peter is going to show us one of the ways we are making our work relevant, and that is to create a website where the knowledge gained through the work of the students is warehoused. And that website is something that we are developing and working with the US-Africa Chamber of Commerce on that project. And we do have the president of the US-Africa Chamber of Commerce Atlanta chapter with us, Philip Karaya, so I will give him the chance to share some thoughts later on. But for now, Peter, it's all yours.
Welcome. Well, thank you, everybody. And, good morning for the ones here in the United States, and good evening for the ones, in Africa. It's such a pleasure to hear you guys, what you're all doing, and Professor Morat, all the effort he has done. So moving on with our presentation, let me share my screen real quick. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. So this is a website, as Professor Morat was saying, a website that we're still developing, but we're working on how, connect some of the businesses and some of the information that some of these countries has, some of our partners. So sorry for that. So here we put all the countries, we put 9 different countries where we explain some of their economics, technological news and resources for each country here that you see on my screen. I'll go into the one for South Africa. So as you can see here, we have resources such as videos where you can learn more about what do you need to know before exporting to South Africa, or what are some of the key points when it comes to like exporting. We put some resources as well with Global Edge. We did, of course, our PESTEL analysis, that covers political, economic, social, technological, environment, and legal. So as I say, we're still working on this, but we put all this website together for people to understand and know kind of like what to do, why to do business in South Africa, especially, with one of the faster growing economies in the world that are, taking place in Africa. Just to move on here with Morocco, same thing. We put resources, videos, more guides. Global Edge was one of the resources that we utilize to get some of the information that you would see in this website. As I say, we talk about, not even just those resources that you can read, but also some of the news and things that are happening now on these countries. Of course, we talk about trade shows and major business things that are happening right now in those countries. And again, we did a PESTEL analysis for each and all of these countries that you see on my left side. But yeah, that's I can go on and on, but
Peter, are you sharing the screen? Because we're only seeing the one shot for Africa book. We're not seeing the different pages.
Oh no.
I think you shared maybe, so make sure I think as you were talking, I know you were showing some of the, so make sure you go through the.
Sorry, are you guys able to see it now?
Now we're able to see. Yeah, yes, exactly.
Perfect. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
But yeah, as I was saying here, if you go on our website, you will be able to see 9 different countries, some of our partners that you guys are there. We focus on South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, Ethiopia, Morocco, Kenya, Tunisia, Tanzania, and Ghana. As I was repeating, I was just going through the slides and clicking on some of these countries. So basically what we did a breakdown for all of these countries and analyzing them, not just their business growth, but also their technology and some of their news that are happening in those countries. As I was showing early, sorry, my screen didn't work. here in South Africa, we were explaining, you know, some of these challenges or some of the benefit to the business in all of these countries. We put resources here, videos, and some other links to reports that are 2 days for 2 days. Again, the PESTEL analysis that here you can see for each and every of the countries.
Can you click on the economic, see for it says click here on the economic section for for example, and then that's where you go to the economic page, right?
Perfect. Yes. So, you know, we talk about GDP per capita, in different type of index. Again, this is a website that we're still developing, but there's a lot of information that we want to incorporate and that we have here so people can understand why to do business in these countries in Africa. I was going through Morocco as well, Professor Murad. I don't know if you want to extend on this, but
you can show that with one page there because all the same, they repeat, right?
Yeah, they repeat. So as I was saying, we try to do the same thing for all of these countries: PESTEL analysis, resources, news, some of the trade shows and things that are happening now, not things that are kind of like before. Back then, we want to show what are the today's standing of these countries and economies, and why, again, people should know about and invest in those countries. As I say, the PESTEL business analysis, we did it for each and every country. So, yeah, is there anything else that you want me to cover?
Well, thank you. And that's we take that information from the student work, and then we refine it, and then we add it here. And the plan is to cover every economy in Africa, obviously. And thanks, Somaya, for helping us with the design of the website and with all of the coding that goes behind it. Thank you, Peter. That's great. So there is one way we create value out of the student work. I'm going to ask Farah Rafi now to talk about another, I believe, valuable output that we are sharing with businesses. And Farah, here.
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Farah, and I'm going to share my screen real quick. Are you able to see the screen?
Not yet. Yeah, I think now it's coming online. Yeah, we can see it now.
So this semester, and actually we've been working on this for quite a while. So this is a Excel spreadsheet, just a quick glance at the African economies. And this information is first thing is that this is actually a live document. So we update this pretty much every semester. It is actually updated as of, I believe, September of this year. And this is all just information at a quick glance, like area population, GDP, exports. And this is information that's gathered from different sources like the CIA Fact Book, the World Bank, transparency.org. And there were quite a lot of, this is a very useful document to have when looking to do business in Africa, because it gives you, for example, like unemployment rates, it gives you external debt, all this information is just right there at your fingertips. And it's also filterable, so you can actually filter it if you want to know who has the best, or actually the worst unemployment rate, I guess. That would be South Africa. I'm sorry. Yeah. But let's see who has best. Oh, maybe that's opposite. I'm sorry. I think that was opposite. I think South Africa has the best employment rate. I'm so sorry, South Africa. But yeah, so there are a couple ones that we actually want to focus on, I think. And one of those would be global connectedness. And this was actually gathered from DHL. They did an entire report. I believe it was in 2023, I believe. And they decided, based on several factors, including trade, capital, information, and people, to determine how connected these countries are to the rest of the world. In terms of freedom of trade, how information is available, things like that. So the Global Connectedness Index, unfortunately, there were some countries that we were not able to gather an actual rating on, but I think it's still pretty useful to use. And there's another also Economic Freedom Index. And this is basically, like it sounds, it's the economic freedom, how free you are to actually do business in these countries. And this is actually determined on four aspects, such as rule of law, which is government integrity, property rights, government size, so government spending, their tax burden, openness of the market, so trade freedom, which is very important in business, and then regulatory efficiency, which is labor freedom, business freedom, and monetary freedom. And one other one that I want to show is the Corruption Perception Index, which was gathered from transparency.org. And this is, of course, like it sounds, the level of transparency. And they actually define it as corruption as the abuse of entrusted power for private gain. So it's important to know the lower the corruption index, or you're more likely there's less corruption within not just within government, but in all aspects of country, in terms of social, in terms of government, in terms of political law, aspects like that. So this is just some of the things that we've been working on, and this will continue to be updated every semester. So it is a live document that can be accessed and can be filtered to your discussion. And now I'm gonna pass it on to my colleague Ishan, who's gonna give you an update on the reflection essays he's been working on. So take it away, Ishan.
Thanks. Thank you, Farah. Thank you, Professor Murad, for providing us this opportunity. And good morning, good evening to everyone according to their time zones. So my part on this project was to work on reflection essays. Like, students were asked to reflect upon the emerging trends that they see been happening throughout the world. And let me share my screen. Please let me know if everyone can see this.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So students were asked to recognize different emerging trends and innovations across the world. So first and foremost, as the Western world, the fertility rates in the Western world decrease, and they are still pretty high in Africa and Asian countries. So the mobility from African and Asian countries to the Western world has been increasing, and that has been the fuel power for the skilled workforce that's basically driving the Western economies. So this demographic shift is pretty predominant and is adding to the cultural vibrancy and diversity also. Second, the most important shift that was noticed, that environmental consciousness, use of words like climate, sustainability was very predominant across all the essays of students. So that pretty much says a lot about the current scheme of things, how we are progressing economically and globally. Certain gray rhino events, like the advances in technology, they have been pretty much pointed out by students. And one-off events like a black swan event about COVID crisis, that was pretty much reflected in almost every student's essay, and the concomitant impacts of pandemic like inflation, slight global economic slowdown, and disruptions in supply chain. So that was one thing. And most important fact, that apart from recognizing globalizational trends, students did go to the level of, even describing the anti-globalization backlash. So the rise of protectionism, not just in Asian countries, but even in Western countries. So that's one thing. And lastly, how work is changing, how technology is advancing, how the workers' expectations are increasing. So students did give importance to the concept of talent management and making workplaces more inclusive, vouching for hybrid workplaces. So yeah, pretty much. And we did try to incorporate some of these trends into a globe image so that you can visualize it properly. And I'll pass it on to Professor Murad for the next cultural assessments.
Thank you, Ishan. That was very informative. And to provide some context, the students in Egypt and in Nigeria and other location in Pretoria have been working on emerging trends, and it's really insightful to see what are students concerned about, what do they perceive as key trends. And from what Peter has shared with us, the website, Farah has shared with us, the spreadsheet, Ishan, of course, emerging trend, we feel this is the value that we provide businesses. And we have been very active sharing these in different forums, whether it's cyber, whether it's at conferences, whether it's at professional associations. And I think we have a good story to share and valuable information to share with SMEs and MNEs and what have you, especially with given the a huge amount of data that we have been collecting, and there's a lot of opportunity for research there. Talking about data, assessment is a key aspect of what we do. We have to prove. I know our assessment team, Tracy Woodman, and I know Jen Bailey and others are very concerned and want us to prove that we are really achieving what we say we are achieving. So the assessment is quite extensive in these projects, and we actually have a PhD student, Fernando Lopez, with us here, and Fernando is going to share with us what he has been tasked with as far as collecting that data and analyzing that data and sharing the main results with us. So Fernando, it's all yours.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. As Professor Murad mentioned, my name is Fernando, and I've been helping work through the mountain of data that we have, which is, I guess, a good problem to have, but someone has to go through it. And I've been working for the last few months trying to organize, and I'm happy to present some preliminary results. I hope everyone can see the slides clearly. Okay.
Man, it gives you a chart.
Perfect. So I'm going to present two different analyses that we have conducted. These are preliminary analysis. Considering the amount of data we have, it's still an ongoing process to work through and come up with different results. The first analysis, we focused on looking at the impact of virtual exchange programs on students' performance. The second, we focused just on the virtual exchange program and their intercultural sensitivities. In order to accomplish this, we used a well-established measure, which I'm going to go through more in detail in the next few slides. So the first analysis we wanted to see. So, we have the students who participated in the virtual exchange, and then we had the students, that control group of students who did not participate. And this allowed us to compare apples to apples because the students had the same assignments, the same quizzes, the same exams, etc. So we looked at their final exam scores as a measure of their performance. This has been done before in the literature, and it allowed us to sort of gauge the impact that the virtual exchange had on the students. We're happy to present that we have the results that are able to substantiate that claim, and that students who participated in the VE on average experience better performance in their final exam scores. So this allows us to have the data to substantiate this claim, which is very exciting. And for the second, for the second analysis, we wanted to focus on the group that participated in the VE and what skills, intercultural competency skills these students were developing. In order to do that, we used the ISS scale by Chen and Starosta from 2000, and the scale includes 5 subgroups. So you can see here, I'll briefly describe each one. In the top left, you can see respect for cultural differences. And this means basically being open-minded and respectful of other people's values and norms. Then I'm going to describe interaction enjoyment to the bottom left. Interaction enjoyment it describes feeling encouraged and not upset when talking to others with very different backgrounds. Then let's do interaction engagement, bottom right. It's having the feeling like you want to participate, being in a different environment and having a feeling like you're interested to engage. Interaction confidence is being sure of yourself in a different culture and being proactive when meeting others from diverse background and having and feeling like you know what to say. Lastly, interaction attentiveness is just being observant of the differences in culture and how much effort you want to exert to understand others, basically being self-aware. So the students all conducted or took a survey before the experience and after the virtual exchange experience. And we went through and organized the data to make sure we had the pre and post matching for the students, which allowed us to analyze the differences. And this graph summarizes that we were able to, just grabbing a group of the surveys, we have 99 that we were able to match. This can definitely expand as we're including more and more data. You can start focusing on the far right, the combined scale, where you can see that the red is the post and the blue is the pre. So we can see that the post combined scale is higher than the pre, which is what we were expecting to see, and we were glad to see that there. And as we move to the left, we'll see interaction attentiveness, which I described is also the post is higher, meaning that the students, after they experienced the virtual exchange, had a higher interaction attentiveness, higher interaction enjoyment, higher interaction confidence. However, one interesting part of the results was that for respect of cultural differences, we saw the opposite. We saw that the pre was higher than the post. There's different ways we can understand, we can explain this, and it's open for debate. And as we incorporate more and more data, this also might shift. One might say that the students feel less intimidated by other cultures, but still it's part of ongoing research. And lastly, interaction engagement as well, as we expected, with the post being higher than the pre. So overall results are that we can say that participating in a VE program is positively related to higher interaction confidence with individuals from different cultures, and also marginally significant with interaction engagement. And this is significant because we can tell our students that participating in these programs is positively related to your own performance and also your intercultural competencies, which will definitely be useful moving forward. And that's all I had.
Thank you. And I know you have a lot of work to do because we have about 600 data points coming your way this semester. So one thing I want to say about the data is quite often you do a project, you do an experience, you take students on study abroad, you do pre and post, and you see sometimes that you cause more damage. You're going backward. That's actually not the reality. Quite often students overestimate their cultural competence. I have a roommate from India, so I know about culture, or I like Chinese food. I go to a Chinese restaurant, so I know about culture. But then when they interact with others and they have to negotiate and they have to deal with different values, norms, attitude, it's a reality check. And they really find out that dealing with culture is a lot more challenging than they thought. So sometimes there's a curvilinear relationship where it's a wake-up call. So it goes down, but then over time it goes up, and we hope that we are building those competencies, and not just in the short term, but also in the long term. Thank you, Fernando. I really appreciate that summary. I would like to invite now the practitioner. Now, everything we've done so far is really talking about the above and beyond the project themselves. And Philip Karaya is my colleague here, and he's the president of the U.S. Africa Chamber of Commerce. And I would like for him to share a few thoughts about some of the work we've been doing together for about 1 year, linking some of the student work, the website, the spreadsheet, the live spreadsheet, the impressions, the feedback with the membership of the chamber. So Philip, if you could take over now.
I got you. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are in the world. It is always an exciting time to be here talking about how we can collaborate together with Georgia State. I'm a two-time Georgia State graduate myself, and I actually got to work with Dr. Dockley before as my professor, before getting over to move over in the role that I'm doing right now. All of the tools and resources that we get to utilize in partnership really do help not only our membership bases, but us that are practitioners doing different deals. For myself, I do a lot of things in finance and real estate, and have even done some real estate deals overseas and even in the acquisition space as far as purchasing companies here. I've never been able to do that overseas, but by being able to work alongside with people like Dr. Dockley and bringing our networks together, we're able to bring all the right kinds of people together. So we had an event that I think is on this next slide. If you want to tap onto the next slide. Oh yeah, well, we can talk about one of the conferences that we did prior. So in the summer of the year previous,
let's talk about this one.
I got you. In the year previous, we were able to bring together people from 8 different countries in Africa, business leaders from all over the United States that I was able to pull from a handful of my relationships and put them all in the same room. And so in a lot of cases, it's not necessarily about forcing anyone to do anything. It's putting the people in the room and seeing what they bring out of it. We had agricultural leaders that were doing a lot of great stuff here in the United States with 5,000 plus acres doing stuff. We had people that had thousands of acres back home and in Africa, which home for me is Kenya. And we brought them all together to talk, discuss resources, discuss how they were conducting business, and also to provide opportunities for one another. And so I need to do some follow-ups between some of the people, because I know a lot of business continue transacting. We made sure that we weren't linchpins in the aspect of, you have to go through us to do something. You're here in the room together, exchange information, exchange the value that you have, and then go out and conduct whatever you want to do. So we're looking forward to putting together another conference relatively soon, but it was super fun bringing together a bunch of leaders from all over the world, literally to just come and collaborate together. So sharing resources transcontinentally, as you all saw, a lot of the frameworks and things they're working on, not only from the website, but the very awesome Excel spreadsheet that gives so much information as far as information on how you should conduct and do business over there. We got to talk about and bring over to our membership. So this is an event that we got to do not too long ago. And I think as we continue to work and progress, it's all about sharing resources. That's how we all end up being better, while also being, culturally sensitive to what's going on and how people transact business in different places, but also understanding it's not easy. Like we were talking about the time zone aspect of having to figure out how you're going to make a meeting when, it's 9 o'clock where you are and it's 3 a.m. somewhere else. And it's like, what do you do? In a lot of cases, like we have to do what we have to do, especially when we move things forward. And so it's never going to be necessarily simple. But I think when we put our best foot forward and work together, we can always get to the better side of anything. So this was another great event we did literally earlier this year, and I'm looking forward to the update as far as the website. We made the Excel spreadsheet available to the people in our membership base, and we'll be making sure we link that website as a great cultural resource and just information resource for our membership base on our website.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you. And it's a pleasure working with you and working with your organization and your membership. And I appreciate the positive feedback I received about some of the student work that was found to be very valuable. I see Trevor Williams here, and I'd like to have Trevor share a few thoughts. I know he's been involved with us, and I know you're on mute, Trevor, right now, but he's been involved with us on this project from the beginning for a very long time. Trevor.
Yes, thank you so much, Murad, and thank you so much to Georgia State, Robinson College, Institute for International Business, Cyber, et cetera. I like to say that most of my paycheck comes from Georgia State, even though I'm not on staff, because we have such strong support from all the various institutions there within the Robinson College, and very much appreciate being part of this. I really feel like I didn't do very much, but I played the role of cheerleader in some ways and maybe connected y'all to a few people. Global Atlanta is a news service, so we cover international business here in Atlanta and Georgia. And I just want to talk a little bit about just what's been going on in Atlanta and how the work that the students are doing is relevant to what we're seeing in the market. I loved hearing about, by the way, media entrepreneurship. And if the students from Tunisia have some ideas for me, I'd love to pick their brains how to make this media venture work for the long haul. Also loved hearing about case competitions and pestle analyses, et cetera, because I've been privileged to serve as a judge for the cyber case competition, and I always come away from those events learning a lot more than I give. So great to see all the projects that are going on. I really just want to say that the whole framework for this virtual exchange illustrates a lot about what we write about. And the premise on which our publication is based, which is that you're not really going to care as much about the world if you don't have any interpersonal interactions with people in these different places. And so I see virtual exchange as kind of the first step and kind of table stakes in a world where we can be interconnected without being physically present. The doing business internationally is not really the challenges are not for a lack of information or a lack of the ability to connect through these technological platforms. We read about that in books like The World is Flat, etc. This is a 20, 30-year-old story. But as we uncover in a lot of our reporting, the hills and valleys of global business are really cultural and interpersonal, relational, and the barriers are ones of awareness and knowledge and connectivity, and particularly attention as well. Just where you decide to focus your limited bandwidth and attention in this big, wide world. And Africa should be, I think, higher in the priority list of companies. And really here in Atlanta, the big companies have known that for a long time. But I think to your point, Murad, some of the small and medium-sized companies are realizing that this is not something that is the private preserve of Fortune 500s. You can really get involved in Africa and do business in a lot of different countries. We've had some pretty interesting illustrations of that. This year, we've hosted the ambassadors of South Africa and Zambia with our company. And then right before this event, we had a separate event where we had a company here in Atlanta called Renuvia that's doing solar installation, microgrid installations in Kenya and in Ethiopia and Nigeria. And so perhaps they can be a future participant, future beneficiary of the student work. We just got a new flight from Ethiopian Airlines here to Atlanta, which a couple of years ago would have been hard to think about happening. Of course, Delta has been flying here to South Africa and Lagos, Nigeria for a long time. So Atlanta is a huge Africa hub, and to have a program like this, or Africa Business Hub, and to have a program like this, really pairing companies with the expertise of students, I think is really important and valuable. So, and then just wanted to say at the end, information is one thing, but you're also, like Philip said, you're also learning cross-cultural skills and really some of the technology skills that are going to be translational or things that you can take into entrepreneurship and other fields. So just wanted to applaud y'all and thank you for letting me be involved. And if we can be of service, let us know. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Trevor. And let's talk about those sounds like interesting projects there. So we have follow up.
Maybe seed it for the future, right?
Yes, yes, I'm thinking about that right now. I think Jamaica, which is our controller in that control room back there, is going to open the room to everyone, because now I'm going to I want to thank everyone. First of all, thank you to our partners, to the students, Philip, Trevor, and to the graduate assistants who shared with us the other side of the BIE project, and that is the business academic linkage. But honestly, one of the things that I believe made these projects successful is the engagement of the business community and mentors. We have a Master of International Business graduates, and we have other mentors. Some of these projects are very, very demanding, and when the students need help, they post their questions, and then I invite experts, depending on the question, to come in, and they come into the classroom, or they answer the questions in writing, or they actually do a video, as is the case with a couple of our mentors. And I want to recognize some of the most active mentors, 3 of the most active mentors on this project that have really, I believe, made a difference. And it's these 3 wonderful folks here, and I'm going to pass this along to Agnes, who is going to lead us through this phase.
Right. I mean, that was such an interesting session, very insightful, very engaging. Hi, everyone. As Dr. Blackley said, we're just going to go ahead and recognize some of our most esteemed mentors. We have 3 of them here with us. And of course, after introducing them, I would invite them to just say a few words, just to hear what they have to say. Today, I have the honor of, recognizing the first person I would like to recognize is Don Williams. He has been assisting in answering questions in topics related to doing business in Africa, his specific expertise. He is the CEO of Princeton Healthcare and Princeton Technologies. I would like to commend your good work and your contributions as a mentor to the virtual exchange program. You're an experienced professional with your, unwavering commitment to the efforts we do here at GSU. So we want to say thank you. Your support, your guidance you have provided to the students that have been able to learn from you. It really would go a long way to shape their experiences in the real world. So if you would like to just say a few words to the audience, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. It's great, definitely an opportunity to see the presentations today. I'm delighted to participate with Georgia State and all of the colleagues and universities in Africa who have been participating and active in the virtual exchange. It's quite exciting to see the progress over the last year and the last few years and exceptional work that the professors have done. It's so good to see, and it's so good to see so many bright students from Georgia State University, as well as all of our participating colleges in Africa. It's really touching my heart to see the next generation of global entrepreneurs and business professionals. And so I'm always delighted to participate and contribute and learn from the students. I find it quite fascinating to see how they continue to grow and learn the craft. And I say my hat's off to the work that the universities in Georgia State continues to do. And I will continue to mentor as often as possible and participate. My company has been actively doing business in Africa and other markets, and we see the potential there and the opportunities are so vast that the work that the students are and the knowledge that they're gaining right now is going to help them to be leaders for these businesses that are expanding into Africa and other markets. So I'm delighted to see this continuing on, and again, my hat's and my hat in my hands, or my congratulations. Let me clarify that my congratulations to what the universities have done. Keep up the great work, and students, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We certainly appreciate you. Now I'd like to also recognize Jennifer Matluthi. I hope I said your name right. I practiced it. So thank you. Okay. Thank you for also assisting us. You have been an exceptional mentor. Jennifer is a GSU alumni from the RCB department as well. And her specialty is in innovation and emerging trends. So we really appreciate you being here with us today throughout, all of the virtual exchange projects that we have had. She's also an award-winning journalist turned communications professional, and she does have a passion for mentoring young writers in the editors, field. So your passion to, the virtual exchange has definitely benefited the virtual the students who have also been on this program, and your commitment, your understanding, your global experience has been very much felt. So once again, thank you. And if you would also just in a few words, just let us hear from you.
Well, thank you, Agnes, and thank you, Dr. Dockley. Always good to be a part of these panels. And it's really been interesting to hear about all of these projects from all over the world. I'm married to a Tunisian, so I have a particular interest in Tunisia in particular, and we have a 3-month-old baby, so we've been listening to a lot of Egyptian baby songs recently. Mama Semensa Geha has been in our house of late. And I've worked for 2 international companies in the media and corporate comm space. Trevor and I have actually worked together when I was leading the publications team over at Aramco. And I do really enjoy coaching in writing and editing and communications, corporate comms. I don't think I was as aware when I was in the International Business Masters program how much my media background would be utilized in the corporate comms space, especially in a global space. And it's consistently shown me that having a background in communications in the global world of business is it's a skill that just never goes out of style and is always in demand. So definitely interested in hearing more about the media entrepreneurship. I've done media consulting for many years as well. Have been looking for opportunities actually to come and coach internationally. So if that's of interest to any of you on the call, let's talk further and see how we can get some of that aligned for the future. But congratulate all of you on the good work you're doing. It sounds like you're making a real impact in the students' lives and in their futures and in their career goals. So I commend you all and thank you for having us join and listen and learn more about what you're doing.
Thank you again. Last but not least, of course, we have Martin Wilson on the call with us. He's also a GSC alumni. He's an expert in supply chain and he's a supply chain consultant and an expert in helping the students who had supply chain related questions. He currently works at 4Flow, which is a global leader in supply chain consultancy. So we are pleased to have you with us and thank you for being with us. You're also very passionate about the virtual exchange and we do recognize all your efforts so far. So thank you once again. Please just, in a few words, I'm told you go straight to the point. So I'm trusting you on this one to just take us home.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. No, it's like Don said, it's super exciting. A lot of the work we do as ambassadors and mentors in the program can feel a bit asynchronous and disconnected at times. So it's really nice to jump on this and see that some of the small tidbits of information, tips and tricks that we've given about each of these industries has flourished into such exciting projects. I can relate so much to the challenges that everyone was discussing about discussing and working on teams internationally with overcoming challenges of time zones. This is something that for me now feels a bit like muscle memory, but I can relate back in the program to how much of a challenge that was. So if I could say anything to the students, it's this is not all for naught, especially if you work in the international space moving forward. You're really starting to develop that muscle memory now. It's at a certain point, you won't have to think twice about what time zone your colleagues are in, whether they're in Asia or Germany or South America. It'll all come around to you. So yep, congratulations to all of these successful projects. They look like so much fun and so much hard work. And thanks for the Robinson College for recognizing us. Yeah, thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Just want to say thank you and of course present this award to you.
Do you have something to share, Agnes?
Yes, do you see my screen?
Yes, I will see your screen, but I don't see yet anything there. Let's see, try again.
Okay.
If it doesn't show, it's not
Right there.
There it is.
Yes. So on behalf of the students of RCB, Robinson College of Business, on behalf of the Robinson College of Business and the entire department, we just want to say a big thank you. This is for all three of you. So hopefully with this in your living rooms, wherever, you won't forget us. We hold you in high esteem, and we just want to say a very big thank you once more.
And Agnes, make sure to say that these are not just pictures; these are actual
Oh, yes. This is
Award,
an
right?
actual plaque.
Sure. Yes, yeah.
We'll
Yes.
receive this
We
very
will, we will ask your address and we will mail them to you that you can use. All right, I know we went over time. Thank you to everyone who stayed with us. Just one quick thought I would like to share, if you allow me. I know we talk about, of course, a virtual exchange, and I know we talk about the opportunity to bring people together. Of course, the scalability of it, the access, of course, the cost has been really amazing. But I have to say, and Trevor talked about this earlier. I'm not sure if you're able to see my screen here. I have a whole bunch of pictures, but many of these partnerships are built on personal connections. And we are so proud of these personal connections. We take our students to Morocco, we take our students to South Africa, and we're expanding. And I'd love to take them soon to Tunisia and to Egypt. Some of our colleagues that spoke with us here are also co-authors. We attend conferences together. Lim from Nigeria was actually attended the Faculty Development in International Business, sponsored by GSU Cyber. This is where that relationship was built and took place. We have a history of student engagement, and I have to say that some of the most sustained and strongest relationships are those that involve some type of in-person connection. So we see here our students at WITS, my colleague Johan Vogel at the University of Pretoria there. We have Abba teaching together in that space, and our students doing a live case with Procter & Gamble and doing a live case in Casablanca with Sultan Tea. So virtual exchange is amazing. It has really allowed us to create these opportunities to develop cross-cultural competencies, technology skills, but I still believe that there is nothing that can replace, as some of our students have shared, that person-to-person interaction in the same space and the same time. And I hope that you see this as really a complement to those impactful experiences. A shameless plug, please go ahead and scan this QR code. This is our LinkedIn page for RCB Global Engagement. This is where we share some of the work we are doing and some of the initiatives and some of the outreach and some of the events and international internships for some of the students that are interested. Thank you, everyone, for staying with us. Thank you to our partners, and thank you to the students, especially for sharing their honest thoughts.